You're also going to need GM part number 12587535. Or if you look in the glove box of your car, if you don't know if you have a block heater or not, there's going to be a code on the inside of the glove box for K05. So if you're under a lift, if you're facing the front of the car, get up under the motor, do a 180. So you're staring at the back of the motor right by the exhaust manifold. There's the water pump with the coolant dripping from it. And that's what the block heater will look like if you have one installed already. If you get up in there and see if I can fit my phone up there. But if you get up in there, right underneath the exhaust manifold, it's held on by a 10mm bolt. So I'd recommend doing this while it's cold. Mine's still slightly warm, but not hot enough to melt my skin off. If you don't have a lift and you can't fit under the car, you can stand above it and come to the back of the motor where the exhaust manifold is and reach over. And you'll have to reach underneath the manifold, and then you'll have to do it by feel. I was trying to find a simple video on how to install a block heater if yours didn't come with it from the factory, but I couldn't find one. The only one I found was a guy who was changing his water pump, and to change the water pump you have to pull the heads off and the exhaust off, or at least the exhaust manifold, not the catalytic converter. But he had pulled off his heads and his exhaust manifold to replace the water pump, and while he was at it, he was installing a block heater. You don't need to pull your heads off. You can just reach behind the engine and feel around back there. This is my setup. I got a 1/4-inch ratchet with a 3-inch extension and a 10mm socket. And I'll just get up this way. Doing this with one hand, my left hand, albeit. And you can just reach up over here and dock with this here 10mm bolt. And watch out for the catalytic converter, because this will give you 3rd-degree burns, assuming your car's hot, when you should be doing this while the car is cold. Buyer beware the Cat's block heater cord, part number 28800. 2 of those I bought brand new come with a factory defect where the cord just doesn't work. If it's CarQuest branded or Napa branded, I got a CarQuest one and a Napa one. They're both Cat 28800. They both had an open circuit in, I think, the neutral wire. Same wire, or maybe it was the hot wire, but I tested both ends of the cord and there was an open circuit. And when I plugged it into the wall, my block heater was not heating up. So I got a completely different block heater cord. If you're like me and you bought Cat's part number 28800 and found out that it was a faulty product, there's some sort of factory defect in the 2 that I bought, get Cat's part number 28216 if you're doing this on a Chevy Malibu. Now that that's nice and sturdy, all that's left to do is feed this wire up. So as I was saying, right over here, behind the motor. Again, if you don't know if you have a block heater, you can come around the back here and see those 2 little copper pipes sticking out. That's your block heater. But now I gotta bring my cord up here. And you gotta do this in such a way where I guess you gotta go over. Yeah, no, this will work. I could just zip tie my cord to my AC lines and go over the motor mount. Don't go under the motor mount unless you want your cord to get snagged in your serpentine belt and get it ripped out and cause a bunch of other damage. That would be a very bad month. I got this safely zip tied out of the way. I tried to get it to not touch the motor. Put it right on this AC line that gets nice and chilly. If you're like me and you live in Antarctica and you need all four of these little gadgets here to keep your car working in sub-zero temperatures, you're going to need like a 3-way, 4-way splitter depending on what you need. I went all over the store. You can't really find anything over a 3-way splitter that I guess is weather rated. You can find like the little cords, the little pigtails that have the 3-way splits. They just kind of flop around. But I just went to the hardware store and built a 4-way so I can plug in 4 things at once. If you're going to have all your accessories plugged into it 24/7 like I'm going to, they're going to be plugged in like this all the time. So they're never going to get unplugged. So it's kind of a waste of money to get the waterproof design that has the door, because it's always going to be open, which means it's not waterproof. And so you're going to be under the hood anyways. I got this outlet box that came with this sweet little bracket, and then I'm going to stick it right here once I get rid of these studs that are sticking out of my subframe, or core support, I guess. I'm just going to stick the dielectric grease right up in these holes and just give her a few squirts there in every single one of these orifices. Just give her an old pie. Good news, we don't have to cut these studs off with the cutoff wheel. So yeah, you just have to take the ground off to put this box here and then just re-ground them. So yeah, don't cut these off, because you can fit this box right here. I even brought the cutoff wheel because I thought I was gonna have to cut them, but I can just stick them here and drill some holes and use my self-tappers. If you're a professional body metal worker like I am, you can just see that this bracket here isn't sitting very flat. Sure, you could screw it on like that. It'll probably be fine. I took a red marker, and you can kind of see over here where the car metal curves. So I drew 2 lines here to try and guess where I need to fold it using some pliers. I can't really show it on camera because I need 2 hands. I've got this spot right here that I marked with a marker, and then I just kind of bent it. It just takes trial and error. Yep, a pair of pliers is pretty easy. You're actually going to need 2 pairs of pliers. I don't know if I can show this very easily. I don't know if you can see that. I'm just going to hold it there and bend it this way. Light up my pilot hole dots. I'm gonna go ahead and say that's good enough. That's how I bent it. So I'm to the point where I'm regrounding and trying to put the self-tappers in to secure this 4-way, and you're gonna have to get a little bit creative to get these bolts in. I'm using a wobbly and like a 1-foot-long extension. But it was a pain in the ass to even drill these holes in the first place. I had to drill them at kind of an angle because of the batteries in the way. You could take the battery out, but the computer is right here in this little bracket. And I didn't really want to take that out or figure out how to take that out. So I just drilled the holes at an angle, and hopefully I'll be able to put the self-tappers in there. So like 1 or 2 hours later, I was able to reroute these grounds. I got them down there somewhere. And then I just put my relay here for my light bar. Just scooch that out of the way. It used to just be kind of hanging around. Got this nice and secured. Those 2 bolts, those making that 4. And then this line here, I fed through this hole in the fan shroud. And then I fed it straight down and through this hole here. And then I'm not going to leave this long. I'm going to tuck it back in there and make it look nice. But yeah, I got this all wired up. Green for ground, black to bronze, white to silver. Then we're all done basically. I go plug this into the wall right now and it will charge and heat everything up. This cord's going to be hanging around outside all the time. Just fill this puppy up with grease. And here we have it, moment of truth. Got a little indicator light. Oh yeah, battery charger's definitely on. Battery heater is eventually getting warm. I tested and made sure it worked. And one surefire way. This pad heater. They get really goddamn hot instantly. When they're off, it's all orange. When they're on, you can see all the wires. Yeah. It's heating the pan up quite nicely. Car's been cold. But yeah, don't touch that.